It's been a part of my life ever since can remember as a child, being 2 and crabbing with my family, dipping blue crabs out of the ankle out of the shore at full moon. And since then, we were at the ocean all the time, all the time. Some buddies of mine had a big, huge board. It took 2 of them. The Hobie brothers had put it together. It was, certainly a backyard glass job, but that took two of them to carry it to the beach, and it was huge. So standing up on it was practically a given, and that's what got us all started. I surfed every day, every day. Come home from school, I wasn't surfing. I didn't care what it was like. Surfed in the cold, no wetsuit. You're 13 years old, 12 years old. So I was athletic, and I could do most anything I tried to do. And that's just what the outcome of it. That's all. And it was timely, too. There was Daytona Beach Surf Shop on Main Street. That's where I got my own first surfboard. Was George Miller shaped me a surfboard there, and I was on the Miller surf team, Daytona Beach Surf Shop team. Traveled to Hawaii one winter of '66, I think it was, and that was a thrill, wonderful memory, because I was surfing for Hobie, and Joyce Hoffman was surfing for Hobie, so she was my chaperone. So that was the biggest thrill, was having Joyce as my chaperone, because she was my hero, one of my ladies I looked up to. She and Joey Hamasaki at the time were the 2 that I watched the most, ladies, and Margot Godfrey. Those are probably the 3 of them. But Joyce was, she was on top of the women surfing at the time, and great lady. I still see her when I'm in California. I like her. Well, that was a great winter. Stayed at Waimea at the little cottages up on Waimea Bay. If you go around the bay and up on the bluff there, and one morning woke up and the windows are shaking. I remember yelling, "Joyce, what's happening?" I thought we were having an earthquake. She said, "That's the bay, it's breaking." What a thrill. Just run up to the edge of the cliff and see the people starting to gather. Oh, wow. Just a thrill. I was not a big wave rider. I had almost thought I had almost drowned once, and I was a little timid of larger waves, for sure. And not a little, I was a lot timid. And was out in Hawaii with Joyce, and I can't remember exactly where, but the waves grew. They're already a little intimidating because I was in a totally strange place, unusual bottom that I wasn't sure of, and these waves grew a couple of feet within 20 minutes, and that was way more than I knew what to deal with. So I made Joyce take me in. My first surf contest, though, was the Florida State Surfing Championships being held at the Ormond Beach Pier. And I was sitting on the beach with friends, and they were asking for female participants to fill up the heats. And I got pushed and prodded by friends. "Come on, you can do it, you can do it." And I didn't even have a surfboard then. I was still borrowing boards. And so I borrowed a board and surfed and won. And that sort of sparked the contest fever. Right, I traveled with the Daytona Beach Surf Shop team to the East Coast Championships in Virginia Beach, and that's when Dick asked me to join the Surfboards Hawaii team. I can remember Dick coming to the house to ask my parents, my dad, if he could take me up the coast with a group of guys, in a van. And I sat there thinking, yeah, right, this is not going to work. And I'm 12 years old, and it's summertime. And my dad and mom were like, "Well, yeah, okay." I was so shocked, just stoked. And it was a few days later or something, we took off. And there was Fletcher Sharp, Skippy Martin, Gary Proper, Joe Twombly, Sunday Panagopoulos, Mike Tabling, Sam Guarnto, Bruce Valuzzi. Probably a couple of years we were Surfboards Hawaii. And then Dick got an offer from Hobie. One summer we went all the way up to New York. Dick was a great promoter. The red carpet would be rolled out for us in places like Seaside Heights, New Jersey. And if there wasn't a contest, we'd do a demonstration. Gave us the key to the city, Ocean City, Maryland. We'd usually end up in Virginia Beach was the end of our trip, and from there we'd head home. It was exciting. was exciting that to be with all those guys, like a bunch of brothers. I actually saw Fletcher for the first time, Fletcher Sharp, at Easter. I hadn't seen him since I was probably 15. That was awesome. You know, it's almost like a high school reunion. See old buddies again, surfing buddies, and that time just shrinks down to nothing, and you don't have to go through any kind of, you know, new introduction or anything. It's just right, just like it stopped. It started up again. It's very cool. I know I could count on any of those guys that I have surfed with. The team, I could count on any of them. If I had a need, I'd call them up. I could count on any of them. It's cool. It's very cool. Outside of that group of close friends and surfing buddies, it was a little lonely because people thought I was unapproachable because of who we were, you know, that star-struck thing. After surfing several years with the different teams and East Coast contests and East Coast championships and going to the world contest in San Diego, and I surfed about a year after that, and then I just began to kind of lose interest. We grew up in the Unitarian Universalist Church, and I'd always gone to summer church camp, and I had met a couple who were youth counselors, and they had a couple of kids, and I went to Longwood and became a nanny. What made me comfortable was that people saw me for who Mimi was, so they were able to, you know, befriend me or get next to me because they didn't have that barrier that people put up when they think you're, you know, a surf star. Now, I've worked through that, and now, and coming back into it, that's not a barrier anymore. When I started back, I started having dreams of thinking about checking the waves, and they progressed to over, say, 6 to 9 months. They progressed over that much time to finally, like I'd go to check the waves, and I'd wake up before I get over the dune or something. Very frustrating. And finally, I was in the water surfing, and so that's it. I was 38. I went down, pick up it was my present, my birthday for my ex-husband to my husband at the time, I should say, from Dick. Dick may be aboard. I had been riding a Bonzer. It's a great little board that my oldest daughter, was dating a surfer who had built backyard boards, and he had a Bonzer, and I said, I'll take it. Let me try it. And he was like, whoa. It took me 20 minutes. Get board back under my feet, and I was just stoked again, all over again, just like being 12. It was cool. One of my fondest memories is getting locked in, you know, inside of a tube when we were at Nags Head, North Carolina. That was one of our trips up the coast, and first time I'd been in Nags Head and seen waves that pretty. It was just crystal clear. In fact, I could look through the wave out the back and see the guy sitting there. And that's still just a totally transparent wave. That was a thrill at that age to have done that. I don't think I've done it since. But, you know, it was enough to last a lifetime. I still check the wind direction when I head to town, or I get up in the morning. I'll go out and I'll check this, you know, the drift of the clouds and check the wind direction. And if I know what the swell's been, I'm going, oh, it's offshore today. I can hardly stand this. I have to work. I get excited every time I go in it still. Every time. And I'm very thankful. Very thankful.